What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of There's Insurance for That, your number one destination for all things relating to insurance. We are your hosts. I am Nate Brown.
And I'm Edwin Moreno, and today we will be talking about homeowners insurance and key person insurance.
For sure.
Well, it's a
Yes.
continuation because we kind of talked about these things in separate episodes.
Yeah.
But we felt like, there's a lot of people that own homes. We live in a big city, in a big state with a lot of different property, and
Yeah.
and also the homeowners insurance, like there's other, how do I say this? It's like if you have a homeowner's policy, you don't necessarily only need one like if you live there. Like if you rent somewhere, you need
Yeah.
like renter's insurance. It's another term for it, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's kind of like your homeowners. The main difference is that when you're a renter, you don't own like the home, right? Like you don't own the structure, but you own the things inside.
I was about to say, yeah, break it down. So renter's insurance are for the things inside that you own as you're renting the house. Homeowners
Yeah, like
insurance
your
is
like your
for the home, not the things that are in the home.
both.
Oh, it's both. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
homeowners has both. Renters only has, so but let's like we could also break it down more because renters insurance has these kind of like the same coverages almost. Like it has liability protection, for example. So if I'm renting somewhere and I have a dog, let's say I have a dog because my building is pet friendly, right?
All right.
And I have a little Chihuahua, right? But my little Chihuahua is kind of rowdy, like likes to bark at people, and kind of like
Most chihuahuas are.
kind of nips at people too sometimes. And
Yeah.
so my friend comes to my home and they get bit by my Chihuahua inside my home. That's my liability. I'm liable for that injury. So my
Hmm.
renter's insurance would protect me for that.
So if somebody want to sue you because your dog bit them, and they sue you, you don't have to. Your insurance will cover that. To be like, okay, yeah, my dog bit them, but I have renter's insurance, and so it'll pay for whatever damages, hospital
Yeah,
bills, or
the
whatever.
medical payments.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
medical payments, whatever, like, lost wages because they couldn't go to work because of the injury. Because the Chihuahua got their Achilles heel. Like it got right into that tendon. It got right into the Achilles tendon, and just,
Wow.
I mean, it's just like the random things that can happen. And if
Yeah.
you don't, your renter's insurance. Or another example is like my neighbor fell asleep while they were smoking. And so a fire starts in the building that I live in. And now I have to run out in the middle of the night and all my things burn.
Yeah.
The building
Renter.
insurance isn't going to cover my things.
Mm-mm. Okay. The
My
renter's
renter's
insurance.
insurance. My renter's insurance. And you
Yeah.
know what else? You know what else my renter's insurance would cover me for in that
What's
instance?
that?
The cost of living somewhere else.
Really? Because I always wondered that, like, when you gotta move, your spot is burnt up. So it will, but hold on, wait. So will it cover like the first 3 months or 6
So
months or
some
just putting
some
a lot in it?
some companies have a dollar amount. Some
Hmm.
companies have like up to 12 months.
Dang.
Some companies you could include like an additional like endorsement, so it could be up to 24 months.
Wow. So if something happens, you gotta get out of there. You're covered for. So people, a lot of people do not get renter's insurance. Like
I
they
know.
very few um most like houses that people convert to 2 or 3 flats never get renters insurance. Like they don't require but I know that some of the like the bigger like estate looking like a lot of them they require uh people to have renters insurance.
And
Some of
and you
them do.
guess what? Their insurance policies for those big buildings,
Hmm.
their insurance asks, are you making sure that your tenants have insurance?
Okay.
And I'm gonna
That
tell you something, even for the smaller properties, they ask that question too. It's just that the
that's smart.
bigger properties, it's more likely that they get caught for that
Yeah.
because it's like more people coming in and out. You know what I mean? So it's like just there's a the
Hmm.
probability is like more likely because of like just how big the building is and all the different tenants. But
But is it mandatory to have that? Like, is it not, like auto and health you kind of gotta have, but is renter's insurance like we know yet you need to have it, but is it like a legally like must have item? Is that
so
why people don't get it?
it's not a state mandated like the state doesn't mandate that you get renters insurance. So
Okay.
no, like legally,
Interesting.
like there's no law that says, but if your lease says it, like you
And
should
you
have
need
it.
to have it. Yeah. Okay.
You know, like you should have if your lease says it, you should have it because then they're gonna probably ask you for proof for it of it, or
Hmm.
like or another example is like you left the water running on accident and you caused damage to your neighbor downstairs. That's your liability. So your building is gonna be like, yo, hey, where's your renter's insurance, by the way?
Yo,
because
you
you
pulled out the
caused
curse.
because you caused property damage. Remember, liability protects you for property damage and bodily injury to third parties. So in your renter's insurance, you have liability, and that protects you for property damage. So if you cause property damage or your dog like just kept peeing and so like it leaked through and the person
Mhm.
has to like replace light fixtures that they put on there because the unit underneath you is a condo.
Yeah,
So now like they own that property, so they're like, yo, I gotta replace all this, like you gotta pay for that.
that's
And then you're
so
like,
funny,
oh,
man. I story gotta interject the story. You pull these things out the air, and I'm like, I'll be thinking like, that has happened to me before. Oh, that has happened to me before. And I'm sitting there like, yo, I'm thinking about first you talk about the Chihuahua. I had a buddy who I helped him move into his apartment, and he just got a new cat, the most possessive, demonic cat I ever seen in my life. It was the most beautiful cat too. I promise this thing was narcissistic. This is- we finally get some stuff, and I put my arm on the couch, and the cat's come. Oh, so beautiful. Ow! This thing rips the crap out of me. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm bleeding. It comes by 5 minutes later, gets me on the other arm, and I just bought some brand new butter Timberlands. Just bought them. Just wore them. And he like, hey, you want to go? I'm going to the fridge to get a cold one, right? And I go, and I didn't see the cat's bowl was right next to it. The cat must have thought that I was going to kick his bowl over. This thing came out of nowhere. Oh. I'm like, no, you didn't. Ah, this cat
they're
must
like
die.
$200
I was
shoes.
like, I said, I'm out. I'm out. I should have sued. I could have got some brand new Tims. I should have been like, you got
You could have gotten brand
insurance.
new Tim's and your hospital and your doctor bills covered to make sure there's no tetanus, there's no
Yeah. So people, guess what? If you got an animal that attacks you in somebody's apartment, ask the person, hey, you got renter's insurance, man? Just asking. Because I'm gonna file a goddamn claim. I'm gonna sue for this. Another thing, my youngest one, God bless Faith, one day in one of our spots years ago, she feels that she sees something on YouTube and says, I'm gonna do this. So one day, randomly, she's like, I know it's not my chore, but can I clean the tub? We're like, yeah, if you want to clean it, knock yourself out. So she scrubs the tub, and next thing you know, she has her goggles on. She's in there having a whole splash-a-thon. Water's coming. She filled it to the top. We didn't know the door was closed. The person underneath is I'm leaking water from my ceiling. It's because of faith. And I'm like, again, this is one of those units that required renter's insurance.
Right,
Thank God for that.
right.
Because, man, we didn't know the extent of the damage. If we had to pay for that out of our pockets, what the heck? It was lots. It was like a few grand of water
Easy. Yeah,
easy.
easy,
It was a
easy.
few
Listen,
thousands.
I'll tell you, I've seen water damage like that, and I've filed claims for people for water damage like that,
Yeah.
easily 15 to $20,000.
Easy.
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 Because the problem is mold. If mold
Yeah.
things. So you have to cut the whole drywall out.
I take
Then you
it
gotta
out.
look, you gotta like do both sides, see, all right, cool, what we gotta do here, and then like just that alone is could be like, 5 grand just for like the sheet that they need to like replace, especially like prices right now, they're only getting
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
And so, and I mean, and I've seen as low as 5 to 10,000, but still like 5 to 10,000 out of pocket
Right.
unexpectedly,
It's crazy.
that's not something I want to like. That's not something I want to pay for.
Mm-mm.
And
Mm-mm.
like you said too, like that cat. Like, what if that cat was from the street? Like, what if like your friend adopted the
Mm.
cat and was like, "Yo, I found this cat,"
Right.
and I haven't taken the cat to the doctor yet, to the vet. I haven't taken the cat to the vet yet, and then the cat attacks you. You might have to go see like get a rabies shot, just get checked up, the
Yeah.
hospital bills, all that is gonna come out of your pocket. Renters is, I got renters insurance. I'm gonna say, man, I'm so sorry this happened. Let me file a claim. Let's make sure you get taken care of. That's that's kind of like, and I think if we
That's good.
learn how to utilize the products that are out there, I think I believe they could get better. Like they could get better, they could offer more, they could keep evolving because we're
Yeah.
actually like putting them to practice, and we're buying them, like we're purchasing them and we're making sure that like we have them so we got peace of mind completely, you know?
We need videos like this because I mean, when people get renter's insurance over the phone, you pretty much just have a phone call. You don't really look at all of what it covers. So you don't know. He's like, all right, I got it. It's portable. It's yeah, cool. I just needed to have it to move in, and versus there's so many times that you could have used it for something, you know.
You can include identity theft protection in your renter's insurance.
Wow.
There's policies that include identity theft protection. So you can have identity theft protection. You can include your your collectibles. You rent somewhere, you have like collectibles that you really care for. Someone breaks into the, you know how it is, man. Nowadays,
Yeah.
unfortunately, like someone breaks into the building, they're knocking doors and units because they see that people are leaving or someone ain't there, someone went out of town. There's
Yeah.
insurance for that. Like there are policies that, and it could be under your renter's policy. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to so like you don't have to have a home to protect your belongings and to like have some type of coverage, or some
Yeah.
people they'll buy a property and you know they'll just leave it because they need to renovate it because they want an investment property. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a thought process of like, okay, you need to insure that property because regardless, like someone could break in, they could catch on fire, like someone could get injured on the premise, someone could get
So
injured like trying to walk up.
they need to ensure that right after they buy it then. Not like, oh, while we're doing the fix it, after the fix it flip or after we get a tenant, like, heck no. So get your homeowner's insurance if you are buying and holding or buying and having someone move in. Get the homeowner's insurance because there's a
Right,
lot of stuff that man, people just don't know what all it covers. They just know I gotta have it, but they don't. I think they're missing out because I mean, almost every homeowner I know has had something happen.
right.
Something. Something happened.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Not just your basic wear and tear, but something that
Right.
probably could have been covered in an insurance claim.
Right.
Wow.
Well, and you know what's interesting is a lot of times you're right, and they don't have the proper coverage, so they're like, insurance sucks. They're like,
Mm,
I'm paying for this, and it's terrible.
okay.
But it's
I got
because
a
they don't have
question.
the proper coverage. Like I'll give you an example. Like like jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
for example. Like I've heard of people say like, man, my my partner's ring is $10,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
um Something happens where it gets stolen, and then they're like, hey, like there's no coverage for that, and they're like, wait, I have $100,000 in coverage for my property. Yeah, but that's jewelry, like that's different. So
Mm.
like we need to endorse the jewelry, you know. Well, you have up to $1,000, we could give you $1,000, but you know this ring costs 10 grand, you know.
Wow.
So people get jaded by that. They're like, insurance doesn't work. But it's like, well, no, the person who sold you the policy didn't explain the different coverages or ask you, hey, what else is important to you that you want to protect in your home? Because
So
if
you
I ask you that,
itemize
huh?
like certain, so you like in when you're getting that kind of coverage, you will itemize certain things
Yeah,
and make sure that it's covered at least up to a certain dollar amount.
ab- absolutely.
Okay.
Abs-
Now is dumb question, but real question. With homeowners insurance, I'm thinking of car insurance, how they say like bumper to bumper, but then they have all these other stuff. It's like, yeah, transmission goes, that's wear and tear. We don't cover that. So I know when most people buy or most houses that get built nowadays, they're built with, seller's grade products. You got a seller's grade hot water heater, certain
right.
things, furnace, 10 years you're gonna need to get it replaced. It's not the greatest, it's just what gets you in there cheap. Or those, be it their items in the house or of or about the house, is there any way to get certain things like those covered in an a home insurance policy, or it doesn't work for those type of things?
So you're saying like covered for like damages because of
Like,
like a flood, because of, or like are you saying because it just like stopped working?
yeah, it's like, oh, you know what? I just bought this house and 30 days later or whenever, like the HVAC just went. You know what I mean? I heard stories like that before.
Yeah.
That's not covered in homeowners
No,
insurance.
no.
Okay. Figured out.
No, no. If it went out because of a thunderstorm, like hey, there was a thunderstorm and the power outage caused this to go out, we can
Hmm.
file a claim and see if it could be covered because there's something called mechanical breakdown, and that could be under mechanical breakdown, right? Like that could
Okay.
be something that like broke down because of a covered peril, like a thunderstorm or whatever, right? A windstorm that caused the power line to snap, which caused, the boiler to go out, what have you. There's a way that to file a claim and we can see, right? If like, okay, yeah, was it because of this? Okay, yeah, like then we'll cover that, right?
So it
Um,
covers more so things that are outside of your control, like weather,
yeah, like
like
what, like
stuff
like
like
what
that.
you said
Weather
about
is
like your
fine.
daughter, like when you said about your daughter, like play. Like that wasn't you being negligent. Like that's like that's someone that's like someone was playing. They're younger. Like they look at all
Yeah.
these like variables and they're like, man, you really couldn't have prevented this. Like this is hard to prevent. So like we're gonna cover that. You
Okay.
know.
That's
So
good
like
to
they
know.
would put it under. I think it's funny. I'm thinking about like what would they? They would probably like the claim was probably water damage, but it's like what was the water damage caused? I mean, I don't know. They might say like vandalism or something like that. It might be like
I know that'd be weird. My daughter was 5 and she saw something on YouTube and thought, "Hey,
the
it's
child,
winter
the
time and
child
I want to
vandalized the
swim,
home with
so I'm going to
water.
swim in the
I don't
tub."
know. I don't know what they would call it. But it's just like, but they have ways to identify these things. You know what I mean? Because they're like,
Yeah,
all right, was this like, and so it's kind of like, I mean, look, we're talking about
vandalism.
these homeowners. We're talking about like you purchase a bill. We're talking about like you purchase a property, you purchase a building. There's all these different levels of coverage in a home, and even like if you turn it into a business, we talked last time, like if I want to protect my business, like let's say I have a real estate empire and
Mm,
I want to like, I have I have a team. Like I have someone who manages like the buildings for me and knows about like what's going on with the buildings. I have someone who like helps me with accounting, takes care of all the accounting, and then I have a couple partners that I bought some buildings with too, that like we're all kind of like in partnership because we put some
yeah,
money up and then then I have my wife who like works with me and like the process and everything. So like last time we talked about like a key person insurance, like to protect in case like let's like when I expire, there's some type of coverage in place that could cover taxes, could cover like buy sell agreements, that could
yeah.
cover like certain processes. But I guess like we kind of missed like there's other people that can be insured too, right? Like it doesn't only have to be the owner.
It doesn't. It doesn't have to be just the owner. If you got a person who, it could be HR, just somebody who is great. Like, and I mean, it wouldn't be like, oh, you just hired a new HR, let's get a key person's policy on her. But if you have somebody who has been there for a while and they're getting up there, you're like, hey, this person is giving so much value to the company. Like Beverly is irreplaceable. You know what I mean? Like, even if she
Right,
goes away,
right.
we can't, you'll never get another Beverly. Like, she's queen of HR. We're going to make sure that, if she expires, while we're trying to find a replacement, like, we may just have to get what's the word? When you get like a temp person or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
we
yeah.
may just need a
A
few temps
contractor,
for
like yeah, like a contractor or something
yeah,
like
too.
that,
Like we got
right?
to cover that salary gap when she's gone, man. So we need to get a key persons on her, and then, the company might be the beneficiary for that reason, or we might do 50-50. Like, hey, she's here, she works long nights. Sometimes her daughters aren't there. You know what I mean? Just different things. Let's take care of the family too, and that's of the discretion of the business owners, but it could be any person of value, any person of insurable interest that they feel like in their absence the company's going to take a hit. The company's going to take a hit. You can't replace people of value. Like for example, place I used to live in back in Delaware, the lady who was the I don't know her title. It was more than just a property manager. She did everything. She made sure the maintenance guys were out there doing their thing. Like if people were late, she was going to court every week to make sure stuff was filed. Like she was that watchdog. She was either that person. She wasn't an owner. But she was one of those staff that cared about everything and she had an eye
Right,
on everything. She would be somebody who you would definitely get a key person's insurance policy on because you're not going to find her. It's
right,
rare that you're going to find her when she goes away. You know what I
right,
mean? So yeah, something
right.
like that you would
So
need.
so it's not so much like because like from what you said earlier, it's like, man, this person is irreplaceable, so like we're gonna take a hit and we need to like so it's not so much like this money's gonna make sure that like we're good. It's more like this money's gonna help us in this transition of like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
individual not being here and trying to fill this role because you might need two people to fill that role,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, like we might she may make 50,000 a year, but we need at least $100,000 key person's policy on her because we might go through two or three people before we can
That's real.
find that type of person. Like we
That's
we
real.
and we're gonna have to cover that salary gap for that.
I wanted to touch on what you said about a company that would split the money with the families. 'Cause I think that's I would encourage that. Like I think it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
50-50. Like it doesn't have to be 50-50, but I do think that like there is a way to like include the family in a loss like that and say like, hey, this person was bringing this income. We understand that. We paid for this because of how valuable they are for our organization.
yeah,
And we want to like, hey, who's a beneficiary you want to add? Because we're gonna give 20%. Like we want to split 20% or 30%. But did you hear
yeah.
about what Walmart did?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Like in my opinion, that was foul. I mean, even it doesn't have to be 50%, but even 30%. You got to think, most people, if you're working 8 hours a day, that's a third of your day. That's a third of your time. At least get that's time away from family, away from children, husband, wife. So at least give that third to the family who they've worked for you for all this time. But for Walmart to low key get insurance policies on there, I'm assuming older staff,
Yeah,
it's
I'm wondering.
probably
I'm not
gonna,
sure.
I don't
I
know
mean,
the
it was like
ages,
over
but
100 people.
that's a lot
So
of
I
people.
don't. So it could have. So it could have been a like a different. Like it could have been like I don't know.
Well,
Like I
here,
don't know.
here, I don't know exactly, but here's my rationale. Most people who retire and don't retire well, where do they go? They become a greeter at Walmart. And with so many thousands of stores across the country, it actually became a thing like, hey, if you don't retire well, you're going to end up going back to work and be a greeter at Walmart. You know what I mean? How you doing there,
Yeah.
sweetheart? So they probably were thinking these people are retired. They're done. They're probably
Damn.
going to Social Security's
That's
trash. They're
wild.
probably going to be with us until they pass away. Let's get a policy on these staff that are 73 plus.
Hey, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? This happened in Florida. I think Florida's a retirement, like that's like the
The
retirement state.
retirement capital of they call it God's waiting room. That's the name that I was selling final expenses to my first. Yeah, I'm in God's waiting room. I'll bust out laughing. I was like, oh, I never heard
God, I
that
live in
before.
Florida. It's God's waiting room. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it was
Wow.
smart in one way it's smart because yes, now you gotta hire people. But you should have took care of the families, man. That would have been a good gesture for Walmart. Like, hey, such and
Yeah,
such worked
man.
for
It's
us
like
our
quite a
last
few
year.
million. It was like
Let's
quite a few
cover the
million. Like it was millions of dollars. You know,
something.
like they make a lot. They make a
They
lot
make
of
they
money.
make they make billions. Yeah, it would and to it wouldn't have hurt. Like, hey, a lot of those families had to do a fish fry and a GoFundMe because they weren't ready for grandma to
I
kick the
know.
bucket at
I
Walmart. So
know.
Walmart could have at least said, hey, we took a
That could have broke them
policy out of
off
her.
something, right?
We're going to at least cover the final arrangements or memorial service on behalf of Walmart. Something, just something. Like, it would have made
Like
us feel good. We all would have shopped there next month just because.
sponsored the casket or something, right? Like hey,
Something,
look, we're gonna put our logo on the casket, but like we'll take care of it, you know?
something, man, something. Like at most, and believe it or not, unfortunately, most companies, unless you've been there 10 plus years, they really don't give a crap. They don't really do that. You
Right.
know what I mean? Unless you are a key person. That's why it's called key persons. But yeah, that's kind of crazy for Walmart greeters were, I don't want to say they weren't key people. The business would have survived without them. But I guess that's a whole nother study. Like,
No, I'm wondering who
did you
was
feel
it? I don't
welcome
know. I don't
by
know who
the
it was, bro. It
person
was
that you
over a hundred
hired?
employees. It was
Dude,
over 100 employees. So you might be right. It could have just been greeters across all the stores in Florida that they're like, hey, you know what? Man, we might as well take take out a couple 100,000 on them.
yeah, easy. Hey, let's get 50,000 on the
What's
next
the max we could do?
150 people.
Oh, 50,000? All right, cool. Let's like right, let's just do the max on everybody and that's
Yeah,
money in the bank.
that's crazy. Especially if they did a staff policy. Like if it was like a personal thing, it'd run
Oh
them up.
man,
They
I
did
don't
the
know.
corporate joint, so they got the cheap group coverage. They paid nickels and dimes and got
Yeah, the cheap group
millions.
rate and
That's
just came
wild.
up,
That's
just came up,
wild.
made themselves 100% beneficiaries.
They, you know what? I know look, I think that was calculated. I think they must have had to brand themselves as we are the ones who hire retirees that can't retire. Because why did everybody all of a sudden go to Walmart? Why didn't they go back to their old job or something else? Like they went to Walmart to be a greeter for 15, $17 an hour, whatever it is per state. Let me see.
Yeah, they're probably doing a life insurance case study. Like, let's see how much we can make on the side from life insurance.
It's low key
Yo,
genius. Whoever thought about it, but they just didn't have a. It would have been nice to just add a personal touch to the families, at least. That would have been cool.
I I agree. We could both agree that it would have been 10%,
Yeah,
like
10,
5%, something. Like, yo,
something, something like, hey,
break you off.
the
Let's break you
remainder
off real quick. We
spouse.
appreciate.
No, I do get. It probably would have been it could have been a little headache though, because then you got to find who's the next of kin.
Man, bro, they got bread. They got people.
Yeah,
It's
they
okay.
could have. I even would have. You could have got me to stay if even you called me in the HR and said, "Hey, we understand you're 75. You know, we want you to stay with the company, but in case you pass away, we're going to take this life insurance policy. Who would you want to get a portion of, the policy? Name a family member,
Right,
something that would have
right,
been
right. Some
cool.
kind of
Yeah,
meeting. Right, right.
that would have made me feel special. I would have showed up to
I
work.
mean, I wonder if they did that. I mean, they probably like did it by like they probably sent a letter saying that.
Maybe,
You
but
know what I
then
mean? I
ah,
don't know. Anyways, I don't know the story,
it
but
goes so
hey,
many
we're
ways.
at time though. We're at
We're
time.
at time. We're at
Yeah,
time,
we're at
Paul.
time. We're at time. We're at time. I think we should go. Just like takeaways. What's your biggest takeaway, man?
Again, man, I sat on some money, man. I just didn't know. I got I got physically abused by a kitten. There was insurance for that. I didn't know.
There's insurance for that.
Gosh, the trauma. I hate white cats. No, I'm joking. It's an all white
No, I can't
cat
be
with
near
red
white
eyes.
cats. No, hey, bro, there was insurance for that. I'm
It
sorry. I'm
was a
sorry to tell you, but
beautiful
there's
white
insurance for
cat,
that.
man. My daughter can't turn the tub into a swimming pool. You know what I mean? So is this again, you don't know what you don't know. So my takeaway is if someone is getting renter's insurance, like read the clauses, like find out what you're covered from or talk to Edwin Moreno and say, hey man, my I just moved. They want me to do renter's insurance. What type of things should I look to see if what's included on here? Like, just find out. You're going to pay for it. Might as well know what you're paying for. And if you have things of value in your crib, which most people do, itemize it. Like, make sure, hey, my special baseball card, if it gets caught in smoke or water, it's covered. You know what I mean? It's a $50,000 rookie, whatever, baseball card. Like, get that thing insured, like while it's in your place. Like, again, if you didn't know that, now you know. So that
Yeah,
was some of my biggest takeaways, stuff I just didn't know that I could have took advantage of years ago.
that's real.
How
That's real.
about you? What's something you take away from this conversation?
Yeah, I think for me, man, a couple big things. Like a big one was just like the fact that key person doesn't have to be like an owner. Like key
Yeah,
person, like it doesn't just have to be like a buy, like let's get a policy for our buy-sell agreement. So we're good. So our spouse, like that's part of it, but then it's also like who else in the organization like is really important. And I think thinking about that can like help businesses be stronger because they'll learn how to value people more. So I feel like this whole life insurance thing is one piece. Like, hey, like we get paid for that, right? Like it's our profession. This is what we do. Like insurance
yeah,
is what we do for a living. Like I get that. But there's this other aspect of like just like the average person that's out there being like or business owner, like yo, like look at your people. Like when's the last time you took stock on like who you have, how much they matter, like
right.
what's gonna happen if they go, if they're no longer here? Like how is that gonna
Yeah,
affect your business, And like I feel like that's just man, it just feels so powerful. Like I feel like that's a big like
it
it
is.
could be a big step in like us being more human and learning
Yeah.
how to appreciate each other.
And even employee retention, man. Like if I know I the company values me that much that they are paying for a policy on me, it's gonna make me want to stay. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shoot, okay, I like that. Yeah. Like,
I'm gonna talk to people differently about it, right? Like
yeah,
I'm gonna recruit people probably just by talking about where I work and like how I'm seen, and
yeah.
and how like they want to take care of my family too. They're like, look, like we got to take care of ourselves because this is how valuable you are, and we want to take care of like we want to do something like additional for your
Yeah,
family as well, you know. And yeah, that was a big takeaway for me.
that's key. That's clutch. That's clutch.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you learned something cool. I know I did. I know Edwin did, and that's
yeah.
what this is all about. So there's so many things in the world of insurance that you don't know what you don't know. So we are trying to educate you so that you know. So until next time, we appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We're still in the beginning phase of this, but we're going to keep on pushing and taking off. So thank you for watching. Until next time, peace.
Peace.